standing orders, do hereby confirm our agreement with the content of the report and approve the report for tabling before the Senate. Mr. Speaker, my greatest worry is that, in fact, this particular report may not be properly before the House, because when it comes to the question of approval of the report and adoption of the report, then Standing Order 223, Mr. Speaker, requires that a majority of the members of the Senate...
Senator Sifuna.
Yes.
I wasn't here when this debate started yesterday, but I'm informed that that matter was raised and a ruling was made in that regard. So proceed with your other 3 points, because
certainly,
that
Mr.
is
Speaker.
a matter that is now settled.
Mr. Speaker, I felt it was critical that I put my voice to it.
Yes, but a ruling...
I am duly guided.
And you know exactly what your action means.
I will go straight to the second...
It amounts to a disorderly conduct. So don't proceed, Senator Sifuna. Just...
Mr. Speaker, let me proceed to my second point. On the question of constitutionality. And I had Senator Mugatana say that he can only be informed by the lawyers. In fact, my senior colleague understands that the question of interpretation of this constitution has also been defined, who has the ability and powers to interpret this constitution. It wasn't left to Senator Mugatana, and certainly not to me. It was actually provided under Article 165 to be the purview of the High Court, Mr. Speaker. So what we are doing here is reading and understanding the Constitution in the manner in which we understand. Mr. Speaker, we are grappling with this question. Pursuant to these amendments, what is going to be the effect of Article 153, Sub-Article 3 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker? Because this is the only time that the drafters of the Constitution have provided a mechanism for the interaction between the Houses of Parliament and the members of the executive. So what we are trying to do here, and I want to remind the House, Mr. Speaker, that in fact, any rules that we pass here, including the standing orders, are subservient to the Constitution. So that in fact, Mr. Speaker, nothing should bother you if in fact there is a regulation or a rule or a standing order that we pass here that is in conflict with the Constitution. Then that standing order is the one to give way and not the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. I finally want to move to, I want to move to the question of the content of this amendment. Mr. Speaker, we have been with you in Mombasa during our retreat when members were raising certain frustrations with the rules. And our expectation was that we would see the concerns of members being captured in the amendments that have been proposed before us, Mr. Speaker. But other than, if you look at page 7, Mr. Speaker, other than this so-called amendment on the period taken, or the time taken for the Speaker to communicate changes to leadership, the rest of these amendments are not the product of this House. And in fact, they have annexed a letter from the head of the executive, who is the proposer of these particular amendments to the standing orders. These are not our amendments, Mr. Speaker. And it is evident on page 7 that out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 amendments, only this one has been put cosmetically to try and make it appear like these are amendments that came from members of the House. Mr. Speaker, you yourself, just this afternoon, have been grappling with certain amendments that you are hoping to see, including the 30-day period that is given to committees to process bills. Senator Gloria Orioba has expressed frustration that we need to amend the standing orders on the question of the sequence of proceedings here, so that at least we can start with motions and process them. And I have also expressed frustration, Mr. Speaker, about the length and duration of the statement hour. None of those amendments have made it there. Finally, Mr. Speaker, we have been told that these particular amendments are supposed to allow people to ask questions directly to the cabinet secretaries. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you look at the proposed amendments themselves, they have limited the scope, the manner of asking the cabinet secretary questions such that it is going to be a cosmetic exercise, Mr. Speaker. It's like there is absolutely no intention to allow members to actually engage these cabinet secretaries. This is not what it was intended to be when we said that we need to amend our constitution to bring these people here in Parliament. Look at the limitations to the number of questions. In fact, Mr. Speaker, there are 11 limitations to the contents of the questions you can ask the cabinet secretary. Why are we lying to the public and to ourselves? There is absolutely nothing we are achieving with these amendments, Mr. Speaker. It is ridiculous, and we need to call a spade a spade.